Petticoat Junction have a new theme?
I never watched it.
Did Gilligan's Island have a new theme?
Maybe they abbreviated the theme song. Yeah, they abbreviated it.
Did Bewitched have a new song? Why does it sound like this? Like a wrong mic.
You're in the wrong.
Oh, no wonder I'm saying, why is the mic so far?
Don't.
What? Okay, that's better. I was like, why is this mic so far when I'm trying to put up the chair, you know? Anyway, it's a technical thing. Yeah,
No, Kendrick, for real. To freshen it up.
I don't know many shows. You if you can find me 3 shows by tomorrow that have had a new theme after 2 years, not even 2, a year and a half. Then I'll do it.
Oprah Winfrey used to change up like a
Yeah,
theme
she's
song
changing
and
up
all
her
that stuff.
face.
Change up a theme song, yeah, for real.
After
Like
every
for the
year?
Season, you said after every 2 years.
Yeah, after a year and a
So-
half, I said.
You said 2 years just now.
Then they retracted and they said a year and a
Well.
half. We're back to rowing, folks.
Boy, you just get on my nerve here. I thought you was going to leave this foolishness in 2K16. You right back here.
Well, it takes 2 to leave the foolishness.
You just assaulted me with those peanuts?
1 peanut. I'm not denying it.
Okay. And insulted me?
A nut. A peanut.
A nut. 1 nut. A singular nut.
You take me to court on that.
Well,
And
you're
by the
already
way,
confessed, so
and
I'm gonna win.
where's the evidence of the nut?
Where that one is what I
I
threw
eat
back
it.
at you.
I had the evidence, okay?
I can pull your receipt and like.
So you would rely on me to go to the court and because you know nuts don't break down.
Well, so I have to come to your house and go through your toilet bowl
You know, nuts.
after
don't-
you've gone.
It's amazing
I can make you
how
do
the
it.
nuts. What you see? Look at this, the new year, and this is where we are, Kendrick. But everyone knows when
Putting
we
your
talk,
toilet seat up.
and I didn't say anything crude. But when everyone is hearing,
You implied it.
everyone is hearing what I say, and nuts don't break down.
Yeah. Okay.
They
tell
know.
me where else
They've
don't break
seen
down.
that nut and log before.
Well, I can make you
What else doesn't
Go
break
through
down?
it.
Just basically that. Nuts.
certain things don't break down.
Your carrots.
Green.
Look at your boy.
There you go. I was
Look at
talking
your
about
boy.
green
Your boy
pepper,
comes through once
green
again.
pepper.
Corn.
Corn, green pepper. What
But then
else?
you got to figure what's the purpose of these foods? They just kind of like passing through.
Yeah, your body absorbs the nutrients. And
There's
then
no
when
nutrient in corn. It
Y-
comes out
yes.
the exact same corn.
No, yours coming out the exact same.
The exact
so you're
same-
just swallowing the corn. You
No,
ain't
but
chewing
I'm-
it then.
Well, maybe that's the
Okay,
thing.
so okay,
Well,
excuse me.
unchewed corn.
How
I
you
don't
get
know.
unchewed corn? You just swallow the corn. The
Well,
kernel,
if you're eating corn on the cob,
and you swallow.
this is a
whole
very
kernel.
very interesting way to begin the new year, talking about corn, digested corn. The enzymes obviously can't hit the corn hard.
Your teeth have to do some work. So that's why you have to chew
You have to
properly.
masticate.
You have to masticate. Totally different from that other thing.
Well, see, once again, that's some brothers out there thought that's what he said. Yeah, he's masticate corn. I know he was always freaky. It's a freaky dude. Anyway, Ed Feels Live back after vacation. When did we go on vacation, Kendra? That was like the 15th, eh?
Was that 2 weeks
And
ago?
Ragun Smith was gone. You were gone like from the 8th, eh?
Nobody. The 8th. My surgery was on the 22nd. So
Okay.
I was here for that Monday show, eh?
The 22nd of November, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the 21st was my last show, eh? Oh, no. Maybe Thursday. I didn't come on that Monday.
So,
It
how's
is
your
Thursday.
shoulder?
It's well, I was explaining to Kendrick. It's doing good. What's that you doing over there?
I said if you could.
No, what was that you were doing
I
over
was
there?
I was itching
What was
myself.
that gesture?
I was just itching myself. So you have full range?
No, I don't have full range.
Okay.
No
All right.
full range.
Okay. All right.
So I have to do therapy several times a week
By the
to
way,
get it back.
Rogan Smith is freaky too, so don't think it's just me.
I am very saintly.
Yeah,
And I don't have
yeah,
those
yeah,
thoughts and
yeah.
do those things.
Yeah. And of course, the worst one in here today. I mean, the worst one is Kendra, because you know the silent
Silent
people.
killer?
They, next thing you know, he responsible for 19 deaths. You know what I mean? You know the kind who they've been looking for about 30 years.
And then they find out later on it's him.
Oh, it's you.
And all the time, that's probably why he doesn't like to participate in our
Exactly, because he don't want no
conversation.
one hear his voice. They might voice recognition, something like that. Well, I'm not.
No, he has a show before this, so
Yeah.
yeah, they'd have it. You
Oh,
made
sure,
any
yeah, sure.
resolutions for the new year?
I resolved myself to not make any resolutions.
I'm not into them either. And I'm so sick
But I'm
of-
going to try personally.
What?
The resolutions I have, I'm keeping to myself.
Okay,
You know, that way I
but
don't have
that's
to
not
share
good
that.
because by doing
That's
that,
not good.
yeah, you don't. You when you're trying to make changes, like let's just say, for example, you're trying to lose weight. If you tell somebody, they'll help you keep on track.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
No, they're suckers.
Because then
won't.
they will say, "What are you doing eating those Doritos?
Yeah.
You're trying to lose weight, or have
Doritos,
you
huh?
exercised?" So they keep you honest and they keep you on track.
Your thing is the Doritos, huh?
Or whatever, Cheetos,
Yeah.
Funyuns, whatever.
No, I've made some personal. I've made one resolution. Actually, the resolution that I did make to myself, and I've kind of made it publicly, but from last year, was just tonal stuff. You know, so I've tried to keep that. One of the things I notice about the tonal stuff is that people, and so that's why I'm gonna. This is one resolution that I am going to keep, is that people reserve the right somehow to criticize your tone, but they don't care about their tone. So I'm just observing that
You
type
do
of
that
thing.
to me, so
no,
you
no,
can
no. I
observe
see that.
all
No,
you
I
want.
see that
You
all
do
the
that to
time.
me.
But when I talk about tone, I'm not talking about having an argument. I'm talking about their willingness to, you know, really be mean spirited to people in terms of calling names and, you know, personalizing things as opposed to having just a difference of opinion.
Because people have a problem when you treat them the same way they treat you, apparently.
Well, or they don't. The point.
They have a problem. They want to treat you poorly, talk
Right.
to you poorly.
Right.
But when you do the same thing to them, it's a problem.
It's a problem. That's what I was saying.
That's
what
I'm
I
saying.
mean. Yeah, yeah.
People have a problem
And
when
so
you treat them the same way they treat you.
So I'm now trying to like completely keep it one-sided. So they could do whatever they want to do, but at least I will. And again, it doesn't have to be, you know, announced, but you just kind of know. You know, you're just checking yourself. You know.
So someone say
No. This goes way back. This goes way back. It's not just for this year. It goes. I'll be honest with
you've
you.
already started doing this.
Way back from the referendum. I'm telling you. No, I did it, and it was a lesson I learned. It was a thing I learned, and you know, again, compared to what I see people say. Okay, I used a particular word. I certainly didn't expand past that, but the things that I see people they go deep, man. They have no qualms with going deep. So I just think, you
That
know,
hurt
the
your
good way,
feelings?
huh?
Did it hurt your feelings
What's that?
when people were saying really horrible things in response to
No,
that?
that isn't the point. The point,
I
no,
know
it
it's not
didn't
the
hurt my
point. I'm
feelings.
asking you a
It didn't
question.
no, it didn't hurt my feelings. What it did was it made me realize, okay, if that's going to be the tenor of the discussion, I don't want to move away from the point of the discussion to talking about that. Okay? And so, you know, the reality is when you do what we do, okay, no matter what you do publicly, you know, there's out of X amount of people, there's a huge amount of people who are kind of what I would say, you know, they're not public, and that's not their fault. I mean, I'm not saying that's one good or bad. They're just not public, so they don't have to ever deal with the ire
Irish
of
story.
of criticism, etc. They choose not to. Some people literally choose not to. They don't want to deal with it. Okay, and that's just part of the deal. Okay, the deal is if you're going to put yourself out there, you've got to be prepared to deal with this
Absolutely.
stuff.
I
Okay.
said that to you. Like, I don't know if you remember when we were having a conversation. It was related to Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was saying, you know, you can't have a platform and you say things and then not expect people to.
And I never
retaliate.
did.
And
I've been
it
doing
is
this for
what it
20
is.
years. I've been doing this for 20-something years. So believe me, you know, you'd run into people who you never saw before in your life, never knew. You didn't know they knew you. You didn't know they listened to you, and they come up with an opinion. And, you know, what do? You can't, you know, some people don't like the pitch of your voice.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But what you can do is to just stay on a path where you know that what they're saying is not necessarily valid, because you don't do that, right? And all they're doing is making a judgment, and that's fine. They can make a
It
judgment. It's
still
free to make
hurts.
a
You're still a
judgment.
human being, and it still hurts.
Well, you know, I think
I'll
it
speak
hurts.
for myself. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if somebody says something, and even if it's untrue, it still hurts. But you know, you just kind of move past it.
Well, I'm finding that I'm getting into a place where that if I believe that what they're saying, see, there's one thing. If you do something and this is where where you see people make apologies, right? If you do something where you, on reflection, know you did something wrong, that's what kind of activates you to feel apologetic. And sometimes I feel like the hurt isn't so much that you feel hurt by their criticism, as opposed to you feel disappointed in yourself that you would have allowed yourself to get to that point, right? But if you are true to yourself, because how do you control it otherwise? If you are true to yourself, it's like being in a job. If you know that you are giving all you can, right? Then some person who is not doing all they can and they're critical of you and it is very difficult, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with. But you know what? On reflection, you can go, you know what? Their time, that'll wash out.
I 100% agree with you on that.
And
I won't expand.
Yeah, because what can you do? If someone tells you to run as fast as you can from here to there, okay, and you're on a crutch, and you make every effort to run, and people can see that you're making every effort to run, well, they can't say you didn't make an effort to run. So I saw a statement the other day, and you're also very careful about how in this small environment about how you talk, because you don't want to offend people. And I mean, that's again thing. But I saw someone who said that they felt they categorized someone else as something. And then I thought to myself, yeah, but how could you say that when this is what you do on a daily basis? So
I totally get it.
So I just I'm just going to try to I cleaned out my freezer, and so I'm trying to now be you know what I'm saying when I say that, right? I went to this I'm into purge. And so purging means one must also purge themselves of certain things. And I'm 58. I'm going to be 59 this year.
Dre.
I don't have time now to be worried about someone calling me a name who I never met before and who has no indication as to what I might be about or I'm not about. It's and I'm not going to go on the charge of responding to them. This Facebook I've become engaged with Facebook. You encouraged me to get on Facebook. I encouraged
you, and then I pulled out because I deactivated my account because I just got tired of it.
But for this, and if you notice when I'm on Facebook, I'm not into posting like I went to the ball and things like that. That isn't me. Okay, I'm posting a thing related to what we're talking about, an issue, right? And so. The one aspect I like is when you get nasty, and I only discovered this a couple of weeks ago, it's hidden. If someone comes and curses you on the thing, it doesn't show up on this page. I have to release it.
Oh, no, because you have your settings set to that.
Yeah, you can hide or unhide it. I just delete them. Oh. And I've set rules. If you get nasty,
on your page. Absolutely, you have a public page, so you have to.
If you want to be nasty and all that, you can't be on my thing. If you
get gutter like that, then that totally invalidates your point too. If you got to be nasty like that, just speak your piece and move on.
So we're gonna take a little break. We'll come back. We'll talk about I
want to talk about bad breath when we come back, and then we could go on to the serious stuff. But I have to say something
it's
about
rampant.
That.
Yeah, it's rampant. Yeah. Any one of us here have it?
No.
Okay, good.
No. Real talk though.
You go. You want me to do that your thing first?
No, because you know what? No, because I know you.
No,
I'm going
to wait until the end.
No, I want you to go first. Go first. Okay. This is a trivial thing.
All right. So I was reading an article, and again, one of the things, and I'll just leave to do this very quickly, about people who take the bold step to try to make a difference. Okay, and there are lots of people doing that, whether it's in the environment, whether it's in politics. They try to make a bold step. Okay, and it's a very kind of treacherous. It's a very kind of treacherous role. Okay, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that because it is just a treacherous role. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to. I'll deal with it another thing when Ace comes on. We'll talk about it because it fits into some other things.
Now that's just so
cryptic.
Cryptic.
No, it's fine, but we'll deal with it later. But I want you to remember one thing, and I'm going to tell you off the air when we talk about it. And then you could round me. You can freely round me out, but then you're going to finally get the point. But let's go for it.
You talking about because I was looking at my phone?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you an example.
Are you talking?
Yes, I am.
Okay, but that was a work email I had to respond to.
Right,
Just like
okay.
when you say talk, Rogan, I have to send this text, this email.
Okay.
So you love to get on me, but
I
you
am.
don't call your
But
own
I get-
flaws.
well,
You don't
then-
highlight
well,
your own
then
flaws.
highlight it to me and I'll say sorry.
When you have to respond to Atlantis,
We're back.
when you have to respond to Atlantis, you say, Rogan, keep talking.
Okay.
Kendrick will jump in and put in the little interlude music or whatever
We're back.
until you come back. So I had to send this to my
Okay.
Sunshine Insurance people.
Okay.
So
We're
you
back.
relax yourself.
Okay. Now tell us about your bad breath.
Not my bad breath.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
One word I can give you.
What?
Rummy. Now think about it, and you can know. Yeah,
Rummy?
you can think about it later.
I don't know.
Yo, it can hit you. It can kick you later. Go on.
Rummy?
We finished with the one word. Talk about it later. Now, you know what I said.
Okay, first of all, I want to say, and I've said this
Mm-hmm.
on this show, I've never smelled your breath.
Okay.
I've never, for the time I've been working with Kendrick, even before I was working with Kendrick, smelled
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick's breath or Candy's breath. Y'all have some good breath in here.
Mm-hmm.
The people I work with have some good breath. But do you think people who have bad breath know they have bad breath?
Well, I've brought up the subject of halitosis on many occasions, and there's people who have bad breath because they ate something that day. So
I'll
it's
excuse
okay.
that. If you just finished
but
eating
you're
an
talking
onion
about
sandwich with
a
onions,
chronic,
and I'm not talking about
yeah,
that.
but you're talking about chronic bad breath, where your breath smells like you work for the water and sewage department. You
With
are
no
a
water.
water and sewage representative.
With no water.
And you know, I'm going to do this year. This is now a resolution that anyone who has that kind of breath, not the one-offs, because I'm going to say, you know, excuse it and that's everything, but people who have chronic bad, I'm just going to say, listen, my friend Rogan, listen, let me just say
Don't call
something
my
to you.
name 'cause I don't
I'm
have
going
no
to say,
bad
Rogan, you may take offense to this, but as a friend, I'm doing you a favor because other people may not say it to you,
I've
but
done
then
that
they're going to
before to
talk
people.
to you, talk about how foul, and I'm going to say it like that, how foul your
You
breath.
got that word from me because
What,
I
foul?
said that to somebody. Well, no, I didn't say foul. I said strong
Like from
odor.
Webster, okay. So like Webster's, okay. How foul, okay, your breath emanates and fills the room. So if you could, you know, but I'm not going to be that cruel. Obviously, I'm just going to say, look, check it out, because usually maybe it's a dental thing,
Jesus.
maybe it's a stomach thing. A lot of people, you know what? I pick my teeth a lot, and I think that's what eliminates.
You've lost, Kendrick?
Yeah.
You've lost? Not
You don't?
regularly.
Do you
okay,
pick
but
your
I've never
teeth?
smelled your breath, so.
Do you use a toothpicks? Do you have tight teeth?
I
You
have
got tight teeth?
You
Because
have
I
tight
have
teeth?
space. No, I have spaces.
Okay.
So what happens is food gets in those spaces,
Oh.
and if you don't get that out, it decays. It's decaying meat.
Well, yeah. Even if you have tight teeth, things get trapped
Right.
in
So
the mouth there.
I'm constantly.
Well, I don't know if this is a chronic problem because, I mean, I've dealt with people with chronic bad breath before, and I've told them about it because, you know, it make no sense. Because I don't want to smell it anymore, so I tell you about it. But, like, I was standing in line yesterday, and the person behind me...
Where was it?
I don't want to call the
I think
place.
you should.
No, I don't.
Because no one's going to know except that person. We're helping him.
No, no. The person
Was it the
behind
movies?
me, breath was so bad. And he just kept doing this with his mouth closed. And it was
So he had bad nose.
God. It was just coming seeping through the mouth.
So he has bad nostril
So
too?
I moved up closer to the person who was in the front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And the person in the front of me had really bad breath too. So I was
So you were
trapped.
sandwiched?
I was sandwiched in between two funky breaths.
Maybe we should carry around signs, like little cards. Excuse me. You
No,
know, just hand it to them.
I'm going to get one of those little, those surgical masks. So when I go into certain
They'll just think
public
you're
spaces,
sick and
that's
move away
good.
from you.
That's great.
Okay, but no, but you're
That
not
works.
helping them. You
No,
need to help them.
I just don't want to suffer.
Yeah, but you need.
I don't know them. I don't need to
No,
help them.
no, help them, man. Help your people. You know, because you never know the next time it might be Illinois they come up across. You know, help them. You know, help. This is the thing, and this is how we should be looking at this. We should be looking at when you tell people that they have an odor of sorts, and to be very calm, not kind of like, boy, you smell. You know, not that kind of way.
How do you say that in a public setting
No,
when
you just pull
sandwiched
them
between
aside.
two?
No, you just pull them aside.
You can't pull them aside.
Yes, you can. You can pull them. I can pull them aside. Excuse me. Could I have a minute?
No, I don't want to get that close.
No, but just
it's really
you know,
bad.
I'm gonna do it.
You ain't gonna do it. You could talk all you want on
I
this
am
radio.
going to
You
do
ain't
it.
gonna tell nobody but they're bad
You
breath.
watch. You watch.
People cuss you out and stuff.
Well,
for
then
that.
fine. They'll cuss me out, but you know what? They can go like this. Okay?
They might
They
smell
are going
it.
to do that, man. Okay? They're going to do the cupping.
I wonder who kissing this person, Dread.
Yeah, but they may be kissless. Or maybe it's two bad breath people.
You think so?
Yeah, and they neutralize each other. Okay? But do yourself a favor. Just go and don't be cruel. Again, this is the year of non-cruelty. Okay? I've so dubbed. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Just go up to the people and say, excuse me if I could have a word. And, they say, listen, I haven't met you before, but I'm just telling you that, and I don't know if your friends or family have mentioned it, but maybe you want to have a mint or something like that. Just something calm.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Say yes, say yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
If your boss had bad breath, would you tell him or her?
I would tell them. I would say, listen, perhaps you'd like to, did you just have liver for,
Yeah,
just you throw something at them that you don't make it seem like it's a big problem.
But it's a problem if they didn't have liver.
No, but then you don't know. You see, because what they'll do,
random thing like
what you're
liver.
doing, you'll give them an opportunity to say, yes, I have the liver. Because they realize now that you smell something funky. Okay? And chances are, 9 chances out of 10, they have been told about this problem before. Okay? 9 chances out of 10. So you can just say, listen, you had the what do you call it? The stool? You had the stool for lunch? No. You can just say, did you have something? Because maybe you want to just have a mint because it's it's a little strong.
And when they refuse it.
Well, then you
That's
go, well,
happened
okay.
before.
Well, in that case, I'll eat it then. I'll have the mint.
I get my surgical masks from Lowe's Pharmacy.
You can't walk around like that.
I'm going to.
People think there's SARS and they'll think you're nuts.
That's
See,
quite
in an
fine.
environment where there's lots of people wearing that,
That-
but you will be singled out.
That's fine.
what's wrong with
And
her?
then I won't have to deal with people's
Okay.
breath.
That won't stop it. By the way.
Why, you think it'll seep up underneath there?
Yeah, that's not for odors. That's for like microbes.
But I got to find something.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah,
can't
perhaps a
deal with
gas mask. Put a gas mask on. Okay?
it. Standing in line,
Yeah.
put that on, right?
Yeah.
Nah.
No, but anyway, it is
what it is.
you got to just help your people out. What about body odor? But let's not go into that. We'll do that in that next show. Okay? All right. But there not many people have that.
Body odor?
Yeah.
You crazy, babe.
Well, if they've been working and all that kind of stuff, you don't have your people who like in a suit.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, then what you do? Can I make a suggestion on that?
Yes.
Can I make a suggestion on that?
Yes.
You know how in the liquor world you have the miniatures? Mm-hmm. As you know, and I produce these myself, I have the miniature Febrezes.
They don't sell, they sell those
I make
miniature.
them. So what I'm saying is, what you just
So
do
what
is
you do is
pull that
spray
out
it.
and just spray
Spray
them.
it
Just
in the air.
spray. Just spray. I love spraying.
And that's not as crazy as my mask. That's worse. You just start spraying.
Hi. Tss, tss, tss. No, yeah, it's a sad thing. Listen, we tolerate it because you can move away from them. It's people who live with people.
Unless you're stuck in a
Yeah,
line
like
somewhere.
or if you're in an office scenario. But you don't want to tell them.
Thank God I work with people who smell really good.
People, make it your resolution. And she's only saying that because there's probably at least 1 or 2 people in the office that smell bad. She don't want to freak them out.
I swear.
But
on everything,
Yeah.
I've never smelled any of my coworkers.
I could not say
breath
that out of 8,000 people.
Well, you
no
can't
one,
say that.
No,
I have a small office.
Yeah.
They got good hygiene.
Yeah, I'm going to come and test it out.
You could sure.
And then I'm
Any
going to
day.
come back on the radio. I'm going to say, you know what?
Any
You were
day.
just trying to protect
No.
your gal next door to you.
No.
Anyway,
Any day. Any
So,
day.
no, but can we make it a resolution that if we, you know what? This is a good resolution. Not everyone has to take it. If you see your fellow man having issues like that, that you just say something gently to them. You don't have to, but I'm just saying.
I've done that.
Just say something gently.
In the
They may
past.
appreciate it. See, we
Not
go-
always.
yeah, but we always go with the view that helping someone in that regard, right, is going to be problematic.
No, but I'm telling you
How
from my
people receive
experience. No, sometimes people aren't aware and they're grateful to you.
Right.
I've done
Have you
this
ever
to
had
many
negative
people before.
responses? Yeah.
What? I mean, cuss all about myself.
Did the upper lip come up?
Yes, and I had an odor accompanied the upper lip.
Because they usually
Going
say
up.
that. You must smell your upper lip. You know that one?
Yeah, you smell that's your top lip or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
No, some people get really, really offended
they're
and
fine.
defensive.
But
so
d-
you just leave them to their funky devices and just move on.
But once you say it, you don't push back. If they push back to you, you don't go like, no, you're really, no, you don't, you just say, okay, and you just move away.
I'd say, well,
You've given
God
them an
knows about
opportunity.
breath.
No, see, you're pushing it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Because that's tame compared to what I had to receive. So I said, all right, God, with your
Yes,
bad
Ace.
breath. I tried to help you.
Yes. Well, let's see if the batting 3 for 3 with no bad breath and body odor stays.
Oh, when Ace
When Ace
walked
comes
through?
in, yeah, we'll see. Okay.
Oh,
You may come in, sir.
What did you say about me?
No,
Are
we
we
didn't
on
say
the air?
anything.
Are
We're
we
on
so-
the air.
okay,
Yeah, we're on
there
the
you
air.
go. No.
We were talking. We're
Yes.
being very mundane, inane, and we're saying
Thank you.
that
Good to see you too.
Happy New Year. That we're making a kind of a resolution that we will tell people if they have bad odor or bad breath this year.
Okay.
That we'll be gentle.
That's a tough one.
You've interviewed a lot of people. You've had to deal with that before, Ace?
Not a lot. Not really, you know. No.
Nobody's breath stands out in
No,
your
I've
mind.
worked with some people and know some people who.
Have you spoken to them?
How do you tell them?
Thank
No,
you.
I've never found a way to do it.
We got to do it, man. We have to make it a mission to rid the world of odor.
Yeah,
And the only way you can you cannot enable these people
Shall we
to
pull out my
continue to
trident?
carry on with their odor. That's what you're doing. You're enabling them.
That's what it is.
You're not helping them. You're not assisting them.
Probably not.
You're not being a human being.
How do you do it though? You tell me how you do it.
Again,
Don't
excuse
listen
me
to
if I
him.
might have a word. Listen, just today, I'm not sure if it's your breath is just a little off. Perhaps you'd like to have. Perhaps you'd want to have a mint. And you know what? Carry some mints around.
Some people
you know.
refuse.
Well, then they refuse. It's you've given them an opportunity. Because you know what? Let me tell you what's going to happen. When this has happened to me with litter every time. When I do bring people's attention to the fact that they just littered, 99% of the people melt back. Because they know what they did is wrong. So
Yeah,
most
that's,
people will
that's,
know.
That's a litter. That's
So,
not
so,
something.
so when you say the bad
That's not
breath,
Something that's
they might say
personal.
something.
And their
No.
hygiene
Something
is
as
different.
personal.
Yeah, but they
as
might
that.
say something to you. But you know what? When they walk off, when they go to talk to the next person, they're gonna go like, I wonder if I'm freaking this person out too. That's what they're gonna think it. It's in their mind. It's in their mind. You put it in their mind. We're gonna come right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here, back with Ed Fields Live. Listen, Rogan and I and Ken, we had some fun at the beginning of the show. Let's start off light for the year because, you know, there's a lot of serious stuff going down. And we're going to be talking about a lot of serious stuff over the next several months. So we had a lark while you, the listening public, are hopefully driving home in traffic. Well, hopefully it's not traffic, but you're driving home. So, you know, get some lighthearted stuff. Not enough too much serious stuff going on in the world, man. So you got to lighten it up a little bit. But our guest this afternoon, once again, I think he's, there are guests that have the record for being the most amount of times as a guest. So this is his deal now, okay? Mr. Anthony Ace Newbold. He's the one of all the people on the show who will have the record for being on Ed Fields Live the most.
I love it.
Okay?
I do.
Yeah.
He's a great guest.
Well, I guess you will.
Thank you, Rogan.
So and you get a whole.
It's
Good to have some positivity on the left side.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Well,
High
yeah,
five. Wait,
yeah,
you mean
yeah,
high five
No,
with the
high
hand?
five.
High five
With
on
the hand, the left hand.
on a damn right hand or whatever hand she got. So anyway, so you, by the way, can you park in spaces?
I
The blue
just have the
space?
tag.
Yeah, good. So
Good.
because otherwise I was gonna try and leech off of that. You know, no, I'm here with Rogan. So anyway, but it's gonna be. First of all, welcome.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. You had a good holiday season.
Did.
I had a good one, man.
It was quiet,
just-
but I did some things around the house that we wanted to do all year and we didn't have time to.
Yeah,
And house looks great now.
yeah,
Nice.
And my wife is happy.
yeah,
Very good.
Happier.
yeah.
He fixed that.
Happier.
What you just
But
putting your
quiet.
this man for?
I'm just trying to
but
figure if
quiet.
I care about that part.
I do.
No, you probably
Okay.
don't.
Yeah.
But you
Just-
don't have
This man's a
to.
hater boy.
You don't have to.
No, I did. I tell you know what I did last night. You think I'm joking? I cleaned out my freezer,
I thought you were going to
and
say
you know what I
mashed
did?
cake corn.
I took every single thing out and threw it away.
Good food?
And it was like melted up ice cream and some corn from 2014. You know,
Wait,
come
I
on.
need to come get that. I'd come get that.
No,
corn.
no. I just couldn't handle it, man. You know, just,
Yeah.
it's time to clean.
Mm-hmm.
But and as you know, I've done some very interesting closet thing. Are you a closet cleaner? You clean closets? You like your closet?
Well,
Everything
yeah.
has to be in order?
You know, the shirts here, trousers here.
The white shirts, the blue
Suits,
shirts, everything.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Got to be lined up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's a disease, but don't worry
All
about it.
right. Well, I have it.
Yeah.
So
But you know, people.
order is what it is. for
Exactly.
me.
And you know
Yeah.
the funny thing about it, you know, they have this thing, you can't win, right? If you're orderly, it's some kind of freaky thing. But if you like a mess, it's freaky too.
Yes. What's
But
wrong with you? Get your life together.
Get your life together. But I rather be freaky with the order
Yes.
than freaky with the mess.
Yeah, I'm like that. I need to know what I'm wearing tomorrow.
Well, that's
that's
you've gone over the
that's a
top
little
now.
far for you, right?
No, it's far for you too. So I'm just saying,
it's not far for me.
you just revealed a whole lot now. You went too far, and now you got to try to pull that back a little bit.
No, I'm not going to pull it back.
You take out your clothes.
My
the
wife
next day?
gets in the middle of it, so sometimes I don't know what I'm wearing tomorrow. But if I had my druthers, when I go to bed,
Listen, man,
I know
Mr.
what I'm wearing
President,
tomorrow.
Listen, Mr.
Yes.
President,
Yes.
ease up, man.
Listen.
Okay. Okay.
You don't
Let's
need to get
turn
up
the
in the
switch
morning
off.
worrying about that.
He's a sharp
All
fella.
right?
So listen, no, the thing is about order is this. I find that if I don't have a mess, I'm more clear thinking. I'm not thinking about the mess. Because on your desk, for instance.
Well, I don't think about the mess. It's just that.
That's something to do.
No, when I have order, I know it's clear. And,
It's
and
clear.
I guess
That's what
in
I
a
mean.
way
Yeah, yeah.
you're thinking about the mess because it's there. But
It's nothing you have to do when it's in order.
when
to
it's
that.
in order, it's what's the next thing to do.
Right, exactly.
And it's easier to focus on that next
On
thing.
that, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, if you have a desk, okay, and you've got stuff all over the place, these are the people who let things go by. You know, that things get lost in the play.
Yeah.
They fall behind on things because they don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
They don't even know it's there. I know that's going to hurt a lot of people. There's a lot of arrows, you know, because as I speak, there's tons of people who are looking at their desk like, "Wow, why are you talking about me?" Yes, I'm talking about you.
Well, usually, even though the desk is messy,
Yeah.
people can find stuff
Yeah,
on there.
that's what they say.
They know
Those
it's in
people
there.
always say that.
Yeah,
oh, I
they
know
know.
where my
I'm
things
like
is.
that.
Yeah, I know where my
Yeah.
stuff is. Yeah, yeah.
My desk is a mess.
And then you know what I
every
always
day.
do when people
Total
say that to
mess.
me? I go and I pull out like a blank piece of paper because there's always a blank piece of paper there. And I go, "Did you know this was here?
What?
What was your plan
What?
for this?"
Yeah, what?
To take notes.
Especially when it's like dated 2012. I love that.
No, well, I know
Okay.
about that then.
Like women who have bags. We went through this before, and they got in that bag that 2014 Super Value
Guess what? I
receipt.
thought about you with my Super Value receipt yesterday.
Where it fade out.
No, it ain't faded out. But I mean,
Okay.
I was like, geez, he was right. Damn, I have a Super Value receipt. I haven't been to Super Value in a while.
from 2011.
I don't know
Yeah.
where that is.
Okay.
I hope not, Rogan.
I swear.
But having said all that, that's good. Now we've known each other's idiosyncrasies. So Ace Newbold,
Some
it's
of
going to
them.
be. Yeah, you've given much too much information, Mr. Newbold.
I have some more to give you.
Yeah, well, no, I don't want to know.
Okay.
Don't want to know. Now, this year is going to be interesting for a number of reasons, both internationally and locally. I don't want to venture into that one who I shall not name, Steele. You let him do his thing.
He's the
Let
president.
him comb his
Yeah,
hair.
the president
Let
elect.
us comb. Let him
The
comb his hair.
president.
In a couple of
Days.
days.
Yeah, let him comb his hair, whatever he got to do. Like the fellas say, when the fellas say, "Oh yeah, my inauguration in 3 weeks," the fellas say, "What happened?" He goes, "I never really thought about it in weeks."
And it's all on you. You let him come to Atlanta. You right there posing with a picture with him.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Oh,
Bet.
if your president is in a picture with the president of the United States and
No,
you all
sir.
have to take a group picture, you're going to say what? No?
No, sir.
Oh,
I gotta go to the bathroom,
I
something.
call in Trump folks, and I'm going to have them come down to
Well,
Atlanta.
now, see, and why it's a ridiculous bet is because you know I'm not going to do it now.
You're going to do
But
it.
I was never going to do it.
You were just
No,
smiling.
no, I was
Big
not going to
cheesy
do it.
grin. But anyway.
Yeah. So,
leader of
so,
the free
so,
world,
but
you wanna
the
have
big
Exactly.
thing, the big thing is the next. So tell me, you know this stuff. What's the official constitutional last date or month
That the election.
that we can have an election in this country? Don't get it wrong now, because I don't know.
When was the last one?
May.
May
No,
what?
and,
Second?
and you should have it 5 years from the date of the last election.
But there's something like
But
you have
there
to
could
call
be-
it from the 5 days,
There
and
can
then
be an emergency
yeah,
war, that kind of thing. It could be
yeah.
extended for
Who are we
6
going to war
months.
with? Mayor Guana? Come on.
Haiti next
Hey,
door.
no, yeah, well, yeah, we lose in that case.
Generally, you're talking
May,
5, May.
yeah, because I
It's-
heard
it's
someone
May.
talk about August, where you have to call it in May,
Yeah,
and then you
I
have
think
like 2 or
I
3
heard
months
something like that
before
before.
it has to be.
I have
Someone's
to,
texting me, so
I have
maybe
to
they'll know.
admit that I'm not up
Versed?
to speed on that
Yeah.
part of it.
Uh-huh.
But I'd heard something similar too.
But 5 years, Generally, we're talking about 5 years
5
out.
years,
So you're
okay.
talking about May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just say, for the sake of argument, we got less than 6 months.
We
That's
do.
fair? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What in the world is going on?
Nothing. The Progressive Liberal Party, which is now the government, continues to try to make things happen. One of them, the biggest one we all know, Bahama. And everybody's like, they give them all that VAT. I'm like, man, y'all could say what you want. The government wants to and has to get Bahama open.
We said the same
They
thing.
don't care about all that stuff y'all talking about at this point. So what you going to do if they gave them $1 billion worth of VAT concessions? What are you going to do?
Well, for one,
You're
you
not
didn't
gonna
have
do
it
anything.
before.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? You see, you think of concession. I always listen. By the way, you're not trying to sell me. I'm going to step across in my other role for a moment, right? For the first 10 years, and probably trickling into now of my life at Atlantis, I had to go on road trips describing to people what concessions are all about.
yeah.
So I would be
Yeah.
hypocritical
Yep.
Yeah.
to decry concessions.
Exactly.
If someone wants to get into the levels, etc., but the reality is, concessions mean one single thing: that there is a net benefit. Now, if there's not a net benefit, that's a
Yes.
problem.
Yes. Hopefully
So
there
that
is.
should be the basis of the analysis.
Yeah. What are we getting for the
The net.
concessions? And
But
yeah.
people actually believed, when I was dealing with Atlantis back in 1998, well, we pay for that. No, you didn't.
you do.
Okay? If and I, you always take it down to the simplest form, right? If you come to my house and I say to you, I would like you to bring me a bottle of scotch. Okay? Well, you say, well, fine. You provide the cups
Yes.
and the ice.
Yeah. That's a
No,
concession.
now I could say, no, I provide no cups and no ice. Well, then guess what? I ain't got no scotch.
Is it
It's as simple as that. Or I have to horseback it with your germs.
Yes.
That is not a net benefit to
Yeah,
me.
no,
Isn't this a
which-
wonderful example?
Yeah, it's a great
not
example.
It is not a net benefit to me if I've got to get your bacterium. Okay? So the reality is, if I wish something to happen,
Yeah.
I have to give something
Absolutely.
in return. And at the end of the day, what we hope is that both of us are enjoying the scotch.
Yes.
I didn't give up too much. I had the cups.
Yeah. So it's not a problem.
I have cups.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't have no scotch. So this is what it's all about, folks. And again, hypocrisy cannot be the order of the
No.
day, and we don't seem to have an understanding. And this is my big thing, of the fact that globally, in order for people to attract business, this is what happens.
You gotta give a little.
Yeah. That is
This
what
is a
happens,
concession is
but-
a mechanism.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, why does it become an issue? Because
Politically, we
a
make it an issue
politician makes it an
Yeah.
issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
On both sides.
On both sides.
So they
yeah,
end
on
up
both
with the
sides.
same.
And so we end up, you gave them all that concessions? Come on, man.
Well, don't give it to them and let the property sit there.
Yes.
Well, in
Let's see how that
theory,
works out.
in theory, when you're giving a concession, you're not giving up anything. In theory.
In theory.
And because you did not have
You don't
anything.
the money.
All
Yeah,
you're doing
he's
is saying, I'm
"We're
not
gonna
charging you
collect
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're talking about in the case of
Yeah,
VAT.
VAT or taxes.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Or
where most of the
taxes, yeah.
concessions are.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that just, and this is very important, and maybe because I'm saying it, and it's about the competition, so to speak. Maybe people understand why it's a very clear line. The reality is we need jobs. Now, I can't say that I necessarily agree with the model and all that, but we need jobs. If we wish to attract billions of dollars in investment, if we wish to get this particular thing that's off the ground, then the reality is we don't have the cash. We ain't got no ice.
Well, what it is...
We don't have no scotch. That's the
yeah,
example.
we
ain't got
don't
the
we don't
scotch.
have a lot of things. What it is we don't have the capacity to create those
We don't.
jobs, which is how we got in trouble in the first place.
yeah.
And yeah, we don't agree on the model I always held that it was a horrible idea to build that the way, and it
But it is what it is.
it hasn't changed. It is there.
Right.
So you're not going to let it sit there. You got to do something with it. Now, you give up some concessions and fine. But that also brings up the point of we depend so much on foreign direct investment. And I know you love to hear about Brussels, so I'm going to talk about Brussels.
Brussels sprouts.
Part of this ACP Council of Ministers meeting was to deal with the fact that this trade agreement, assistance agreement between the ACP countries and the EU has to be negotiated, because one of the things the countries in the European Union are saying, you know, so many of y'all African countries and Caribbean countries, y'all just living off the European taxpayers' money, all this aid we giving you. And the ACP group is saying there's some validity to that, but we have to deal with that. And the way we deal with that is we start developing some local industry. We don't develop anything locally. And if I were to develop something, you're going to give me the hardest time to get it up and going.
Absolutely.
We don't own hotels. There's a good reason why we don't own hotels. You ain't going to buy no rooms in my hotels, Ed Fields. You ain't even going to help me promote it.
No, I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why.
We have boutique hotels.
Yeah, no, let me tell you why. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Very few. Do we have
listen,
a-
you know
do
what we're
we
not
have
going to
a-
do?
Not to the
You know what we're
level.
not
Do we
gonna
have
do?
a sandals or a breezes?
No, not to
No,
that
but listen,
level.
here's the deal. Here, see, this is this is one of the things that I need to impress upon you. If you produce Switcher, I'm drinking that over Minute Maid. I'm doing it. We're doing it today.
Ed,
Okay?
I'm not talking about you, and you know I'm
No,
not talking about you.
no. I'm being
Right.
rhetorical. I'm being rhetorical as well. Okay.
Yeah.
The reality is, it's called standard. Okay. I'm not going to look at Island House.
Okay.
They ain't got no
Love it.
problem there.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay.
See, so don't come up with something. See, what I don't want this to be is this:
No, Island House is fine. Who owns Island House?
a Bahamian.
Mark
100%.
Carlo Esco's
100%.
I don't want to go where you make
No,
me
but
go.
no. The point of the matter I'm making is this: if we create a standard, right,
Okay.
that you and I, that the general public accepts, then we will buy it. The problem is this, and this is across the board.
Have it as substandard.
We
photo.
cannot use the word Bahamian as a qualifier. Okay?
And I
I
won't.
totally
Okay.
I agree with you.
Well, I was Bahamian.
Won't.
You know,
Yeah,
I heard
no.
I heard someone. I was at Bahamas here. Okay, and someone was trying to bring in some stuff. Okay,
Right.
and they was like, "Well, it's $40 freight,"
Right.
and the person say, "I'm Bahamian. It's Bahamas here."
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I said to them, "So you think if I'm American, I go to America there and get it free? Come on, let's be real."
Maybe.
Okay, so if you present a product that's at a standard, you won't have a problem anywhere on the planet. Astri Ball, look at Lelaine Pin. I'm going to use that example. She has a product. She's now even taken that product to the States.
Florida.
There's a standard that we have accepted as chicken in the bag, and she's raised that
She's
standard.
raised that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I just think that we need to get off of this, and I'm being rhetorical. It's kind of pity thing. Just create a standard, and
Yeah,
we'll be
no,
fine.
and I agree with that. And I'm not the only person to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not the only person to say that. We don't create things locally, it was my point.
Well, that's true.
And we have to figure out
How to do it.
start
Right.
creating some local
Well,
businesses
number one thing is to
and
get government out of the
industries so that we're not sitting in there at the mercy of
somebody else.
Let me tell you
Chai
something.
Folk Enterprises and Bahama.
But I can give you, we got to think, when you come back, I'm going to talk to you about some examples that people don't know, which we have done locally, that people are standard, that people have become millionaires off of. We're going to be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Rogan Smith. Kendrick Williams is on our board, and of course our guest is Anthony Newbold. But we go back to this thing about standards. It emanates, it seems to me, Mr. Newbold, from the top, right, of what we have learned to accept. there's a guy, I'm going to have him on the show. He goes by the name of Conkalay. His name is Andrew Roll. He works at Atlantis. Okay. He's been on a mission for the last 4 or 5 years about litter.
Yes.
He's an door personnel at Atlantis. Okay, a Bahamian who says to me, I ran into him for the first time over the holiday weekend, who says to me, Mr. Fields, I drive, this is my country, and it makes me cry to see how we treat it. Who is forcing that on us? Mm-hmm. Who is forcing us to litter? Mm-hmm. So, you talk about standards, we can't even pick up a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. And every piece of paper that is on the ground, Mr. Newbold, is related to a human being. And as much as the government or private citizens work to try to collect that garbage, mm-hmm. someone comes right behind them and throws it back down.
That's the sad part about it.
So we have this great education problem.
Something.
Not only the formal education, but
social.
Mm-hmm. Because who? I was going to say something that would get me in trouble.
Well, get yourself in trouble.
No, you like to get in trouble, not me.
I don't like to get in trouble.
No, who are the people we are growing in the Bahamas?
Against standard.
Who thinks it's okay to do that?
But they know where to do it, though. Because when I see, and I've participated in runs, I participate in runs a lot. When people are in New Providence,
right,
and they have the water bottles and all these things, they throw them along the road. They don't hold on to them until they go into the trash. The minute they cross over Paradise Island and they're on there to complete their route, they look for the trash can and they throw it in the trash can. So I don't know if it's because it's Paradise Island or because they know things are enforced there or what it is.
I think
they know how to hold on to that trash.
Or just maybe, and I'm not decrying that.
Don't say because it's clean.
No. That's what you're saying essentially. But this is what they also do, is you may be surprised.
There's a reverence.
You may be surprised also though how quickly someone comes around to pick that up.
Well, that's great.
On Paradise Island.
And
you see what I'm saying?
That's fine.
That's fine.
If it happens.
People do that all over the world. They throw bottles in
I understand.
marathons,
but what I'm saying is the mindset is so different over there, where I observe people and they're making sure they seek out a trash can before just throwing it on the trash.
Well, they got to be a cash can to seek. Number one.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is a fine point.
But even if they're trash cans, and then you know exactly what Rogan is saying.
Yeah.
But we won't go do that on Paradise Island. For one, we have a reverence for Paradise Island,
Mm-hmm.
and two, we know if we screw around, somebody's going to punish us.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I don't know if we punish, because if you go to our beaches and you see after the holidays, you wouldn't see too much punishment.
Yeah, well, that's another story.
Okay? Listen, we have a problem. And
We
you
do.
go back to, sometimes you can find a common denominator, right? Or a common thread. And again, it goes back to the standard. When you and I don't know how old Rogan is, we're in high school or in grade school, if you threw a piece of paper on the ground, this is a problem. In
for
school.
sure. You had to pick it up.
Okay? So what you learned...
I went to Catholic school.
Well, there you go. So you know. So you
had
had a Catholic... You would end up sitting on line. We had a thing called sitting on line, which means that in the position you lined up on for morning to assembly, that's where you sat for lunch for 2 weeks. And then after you finish with that, you pick up garbage for another 2 weeks while everyone play it. So you became socialized not to do that.
We back now to definite penalty and punishment for an infraction.
Negative reinforcement.
It has to be there.
And so if that's
So what's the penalty now?
Yeah, well, there isn't any.
You see?
There may be
That's
some
why it's about-
penalties on the books.
Yeah.
But who
Ain't nobody
enforces?
enforcing them.
But and I don't know, I don't want to decry schools. I haven't driven around to see if schools are kept any worse or better than the general community. But you'd hope that this is the kind of thing that is being taught in school, because this is where it's learned, right? This is where you go for your formative years.
Socialization.
This is where you become socialized.
This is where you become socialized. It starts in the home. We're going to go back there. So you go to school and the teacher says this is what you ought to be doing. And hopefully you take some of that back home. But if you go back home and you can do whatever you want, it's difficult.
And then, this is where I have mixed feelings about leadership as we see it today, right? Because what I find is that leadership finds it easier for their own self-preservation or self-promotion to actually hinge on to lower standards.
Yeah,
So-
because it means that you don't have to be confrontational with anyone.
Or that it will promote yourself. So in other words, if there's one person who doesn't like to litter, and there's 10 people who like to litter, they would side with the people who like to litter because that means that's 10 votes versus the one vote.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
totally
They will excuse those 10 people.
I totally
You're
get
talking about political leadership.
No,
now.
well, but even at the other levels,
Yeah,
whether
at
it's
other
union
levels.
union leadership, it's a thing that says I as the leader, in interest of preserving my lot,
my self-interest.
will just have to go with that flow. And then you know what? It's funny. They'll tell you on the side. See,
Yeah, I
one of these
agree
days
with
I write a book. Okay, they'll tell you on the side. Well,
You
you know
ain't
you can't. You know you can't. You
Say
know,
that,
I mean,
or
you know
can't
you
do
can't
that.
say that though, because you know that. Listen,
I've
one of these
witnessed that
days, my
sitting
friend.
right inside of this studio, I've witnessed that.
One of these days, I
Mm-hmm.
will write the book.
Yeah, well, and again,
You calling names?
Oh yeah, I can call names because I got nothing to lose. I can write it when I close the diet.
yeah, well, again, now we talk about, which is why everybody shouldn't be sitting in that chair that says leader on the
That's
back of
right.
it. Which is why I also say we need to, when we talk about the overall landscape of the Bahamas, certainly the political landscape, we need 20 men and women who say, I only gonna be here for 5 years.
Yeah. But it
'Cause
requires and
I'm gonna
the
straighten this up.
right
And then
men
get
and
out.
women.
Yeah, I'm going to
And I-
straighten this up.
and I don't need
And,
to
I,
vote,
and,
so-
I have no
and
nothing to
in the
lose.
business of straightening this up, I know you ain't going to vote for me no
Yeah.
more. But how many people like that do you find?
Well, and as I listen to all of the stuff that's going on, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and this is what I would implore. I saw a video blog of someone the other day who was just right on point. A guy named Billy Roberts out of
Saw most
out
of it.
Abaco, right?
Saw most
Yeah, I
of it.
know. Billy.
of just being straight, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that what we don't do is, again, this is a standard. See, all of these things is research something, discover the truth before we speak, right? So you pick an issue, and because it's emotive, because there's a lot of people who will follow you, you just spew out about it, but you have no clue what the reality is. And in fact, what you're spewing is exactly the opposite of what you need to happen.
So what do we do what's the penalty for somebody like that?
Well, there is no penalty. How do we attract people who, and boy,
Right.
we're going to get through this process sooner or later, right? But the reality is the people like an Ace Newbold who says, okay, I'm going to put myself up for the president of the press club. And this happened in the first press club dinner, who gets up and says what to me is truth, right? About what we are doing to ourselves, you know. Well, then what happens is, you're the ass,
Okay. And that's fine.
from the people who are doing it. Okay,
Right,
They
right.
justify their
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
by making you the ass.
Yeah.
And that has to stop.
And that's why you need somebody sitting in the chair who says, it's okay.
Yeah.
I know what's the right thing
Yeah.
is.
We still shutting you off.
Yeah, you can call me what you
yeah,
want.
yeah, but I turn
That's
it
your
off.
business.
Yeah, you've been suspended.
Yeah. And
For
that's
saying that.
No,
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
Do you think this is just a little mini, media moment? MMM, double
Okay.
alliteration.
MMM.
Yeah, mini
Triple
media
L.
moment.
That's
No,
not
triple
it's a double alliteration. An alliteration is 2. A double alliteration is 3. Read it. Look it up.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, because you can't have double in the first instance. Okay, there's a little lesson there.
Thanks for
Now,
the English lesson.
Okay, but having said that, do you think in a community this small that we require, and I know this is going to freak some people out, less freedom than you might in a more mature community? And for instance, we have gone way out in the talk show and that type of thing. Do you think it requires and I'm not espousing either one, I'm just asking the question, does it require a little bit more responsible control? I don't know what the
Because
word
we're in a
is.
small environment.
Because we're small, we're just developing in terms of,
And there's some things
like
that
we
you
took a
shouldn't
giant leap.
Yeah, there's some things you shouldn't just throw out in the public domain because we are still a developing, and you need to ease that out there. And you just don't go talk all your business because there's some things or other people's business for that matter, but all extremes are bad, Ace. I mean, Ed.
You can call
Ace.
yourself me. Yeah.
All extremes
call
are
yourself
bad, Ed.
Yeah.
At first, we had only my station.
That's the point, right?
That's
we
one
went,
extreme.
We went from
That's
that
one
extreme.
We went from
and
that
then
extreme
to liberalization,
all
and
the
everybody
way
got
to the other
right.
end,
Station.
which is twice as bad.
Because when you look at the United States, for instance, when they started off with radio and TV, right? They had some stringent years, man.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
certain things you couldn't say or do, you know. But we went from certain things you couldn't say or do, or I mean, you couldn't say or do nothing. You could say and do everything.
Everything, which is bad.
You know, IRCA, you were here for the IRCA one, right? It's surprising to me. IRCA says that their code is wide open.
Yeah, we had that conversation.
I spoke with Stephen
You, you could say the 7
he's-
words on the air.
He's a pretty liberal guy, but see, boy, I'm with you on this developing country thing, eh? And yeah, man, you can't put it all out there. You gotta ease
It's
that
like
stuff.
rearing a child.
Yes.
It's like rearing a child,
Yes.
right? You don't just say to the child, you know what? You're 10. When you're 16, here's a bottle of rum.
Yeah, no,
You know? And by the way, get in the car too. We can give you the rum and the driver's license at the same
no,
time.
I think we need to ease into some things, and you will find the wild-eyed liberals, I call them, who say, "What is Ed and Ace talking about?"
yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
you got to
espousing.
have standards, but some control as well.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? I honestly believe that even and I consider myself to be very liberal, but I would think that even the liberals, given the context of this community, because everything is about context, right? Given the context of this community, that there are some things that they would wish to see controlled. Let me use the word controlled. Just
Managed.
moderated, managed. Managed is a good
Managed.
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should you just be able to just say anything about anyone? Is that
No.
healthy
No, it isn't.
to just because what I find is this, and we were
where
talking,
do you do that?
well, we were talking about earlier, Rogan, about the message, right? So if you and I want to talk about the development of this country, and every couple words I call, well, you know, you ain't no good. You was a sister. Well, then we're not. What are we doing? We're not. What are we advancing? You know, we're not advancing anything. You know, so we've got to find a way to find that.
And you know what my hobby horse is, right?
And what's
It
that,
comes
sir?
back down to leadership as well. Because if left to their own devices, I say it all the time, people will run wild. They will do the thing that is easy. They will do the thing that feels good, which isn't necessarily the best thing for them, which is why we need good leadership everywhere.
You know, let me give you a John Canoe analogy. I went to
John Canoe.
I know. I went to
you
John
went
Canoe
to New
this year.
Year's, John Canoe?
No, I didn't go to New Year's, but
I went to New Year's, which
yeah.
was an experience for
Yeah.
me. But you go ahead.
But I went to Boxing Day John Canoe, and I'll tell
Okay.
you this: the last time I went to spectate at John Canoe, I must have been about 14. They probably
Okay.
were doing John Canoe up and down the road. you
yeah,
know, okay.
yeah.
Other than that, I rushed.
Okay,
Okay. But this year I went and I watched John Canoe as a spectator,
okay.
and I will tell you something. That I don't know if it began last year with Jeff Lloyd, because you talk about leadership, etc. But every time a group finished, I could see another group. Okay,
You could
every
see them.
time and they had started. Every time a group passed, I could
Another one was
see
on deck,
another group
yeah.
coming. Okay,
So that's
as opposed to the
previous years where
Oh,
you wait, you're nowhere in sight.
Is there any more groups? You had time. I had time in previous years. I would have had time to go home to pee if I didn't want to use the Port of Sands
The porta potty, right?
and come back. So this
No,
goes to your
yeah.
point about leadership and control and order.
It
Makes everything more pleasant.
it makes everything work, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
So you can't have leaders who, first of all, don't know what it is they're supposed to be doing as the leader.
When we come back, we're going to take a break. I want to talk to you about really the big elephant in the room.
There's what?
Yeah, it's a huge elephant. We don't talk about it, but I can give you a little quiz.
Okay.
And I can see what you say. We're going to be right back. So Mr. Newbold, I wanted to. What did I say? Yeah, I don't know why I thought That's not his name, but it is his name because he called me Ace.
I'm not Ed.
But I'm going to bring up something because I want to read just something that I wrote. I mean, it's not that a big
That
deal
wasn't
I
what you
wrote
were
it.
going to get me with the first time.
No, that wasn't. But
We're gonna
Rogan,
get to what you-
we are going to get to
Okay.
that. But Rogan reminded me of something that I want to speak to, and that is how when you talk about leadership, right? How difficult it is to identify it because it is such a treacherous role.
Yes.
Okay, and journey, right?
Uh-huh.
There are things that will come at you, man. You didn't even know. You could
I
be
say
a
it
saint.
all the time. I say it all the time.
Okay.
Leaders need two things. They need commitment and they need plenty courage.
Courage.
Without the two of them,
Okay.
you're in the wrong spot.
I'm just going to write the response that I wrote to something about what it is to be a leader, okay? Or the treacherous ground. So I said, number one, and this is about people who judge leaders. Caution should be taken as we personalize criticism. Judging the extent to which another is self-enamored can be reflective. Number two, it is possible to criticize without subjective characterization. Number three, the reason there is a lack of persons putting themselves out there is because of the abuse they must take just by trying to make a difference. Every activist must endure that which is personal in order to achieve that which is ultimately beneficial to his or her very critics. And finally, in our zeal to identify a savior, we are quick to pound in the nails of his crucifixion. It's just the way it is in the leadership business. So,
And it
this is what
is.
discourages those things are what discourages people because people aren't that brave.
True. Most people aren't that brave.
And most people shouldn't need to be that brave.
Well,
You see what I'm saying? No, you can't, everyone, 335 people don't need to be leaders.
true.
1,000 people.
That is true.
Okay,
That
so
is
there's
true.
some people who are happy, but they're not. They also so it's a two-sided. You got to have the people willing to be brave, but they shouldn't have to be brave either. They should just have to step forward, and they shouldn't have to be subjected to innuendo
Personal
and
attacks.
personal attacks because they're trying. You know what? If they
Yeah.
fail and
Yeah.
if they have ulterior motives, that
It
will
will
come to
manifest.
that will
Yeah,
exactly.
it
But
will.
Yeah,
don't immediately
Yeah.
label them that way.
Yeah, we just feel it more here because we're a smaller community.
It happens
but That's, yeah.
But
It's-
I'm saying
it's a worldwide thing.
But we should strive. We should strive.
We should know better.
Yeah, and we should strive not to have that be the case.
I agree with you.
All right. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about was I want to quiz you. I don't know if I've given Rogan this quiz, but this is my
Let's go.
new quiz.
Rogan, you're free to answer as well.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is treacherous territory here.
All
Okay.
right.
What's the number one industry in the Bahamas?
Well, first of all, let me answer this. This is a trick question because normally we would jump up and say tourism, right?
Right.
But the way he's doing his hands like this lets you know that he has some other thing of
Either
his
that or I
lips.
like doing my hands like that. But
No,
go ahead.
so
it might be a trick.
So it's not tourism.
It might be a trick.
So the number one industry is the government.
Because you and I have spoken about
Yeah.
this. I
No,
think.
is it
But it
government?
is.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
see,
what he
well-
says.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what,
I didn't
yeah.
hear him say
I've told you
No,
this
we
before
had
too.
that
We've had this
conversation
discussion
Maybe
before.
y'all had
Yeah.
that conversation.
We had that
The number
conversation.
one
I
industry.
just know him.
The number one industry, and I want people to stop saying tourism because that's why we're failing. Okay? The number one industry is government. Okay? Any place where the majority of people, some 40,000 out of whatever the labor force is
140
employed
maybe.
by a single entity, that's the industry. If you're in Pennsylvania, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and 20,000 people are employed by the steel mill, that's the number one industry. And you know what happens? When you pull the plug on the steel mill, the town collapses. That's why all this talk about, well, you got to get rid of 50% of civil servants, you can't do it. If you pull the plug on 25% or more, or any
got
percentage of government workers,
I got
you will be pulling the plug on the economy because we've screwed it up so bad that has become the number one industry, which means that you pull the plug on mortgages, you pull the plug on the food stores,
Understood.
you pull the plug on the banks, you
Understood.
pull the plug on the economy. we have to find a way to increase other industries to overwhelm that. Okay?
Gotcha.
And I've almost believe that it would be better to send some of these
smiling.
people home.
No, that's
To get out of the way.
That's what I said at the beginning.
Yeah,
So going to my ACP story, we got to create
We
some
gotta
other
create some
industries.
scenarios.
We just have to.
But you know, you think about, but here's the biggest problem with the number one industry, government. It's in the way of the other industries.
True.
Okay?
Very
That is
true.
That is true. That's
Very
why
true.
we don't create any other industries. Because of that number one industry.
we getting into some revelation stuff here. I get goosebumps on this stuff because it's I'm serious. Because once you start to recognize truth, right? Because that is a sacred cow. No one wants to talk about it. You will never hear a public speaker or a politician talk about the public service. That's too many damn votes to freak out.
Only if he, like Ace says, in for the 5 years and then he's gone on.
Yeah, but he can't talk about it till after. That is
after,
one
right?
scenario.
Yeah, after he's already gotten.
Yeah.
elected.
He can't talk about that if he's running for power.
No.
Okay, because
afterwards.
he ain't getting in.
Well,
He gets it,
well,
does
the
what
member
he
for
has to do.
Fox Hill said he wanted to reform the public service. He didn't get to do that. But
Yeah, but
that was his-
reform is
Reform
different
that's
from.
a gentle
Yeah.
word.
And he ain't really,
That's just
he ain't really
streamlining.
outlined that reform, right?
Yeah.
That might mean, well,
Trying to
maybe
make
you
it
gotta
more
like
efficient.
Shift some books
get
in here
better,
and get more efficient.
get
try
better,
to make it more efficient.
better offices or something like that. Let me tell you something. When you think about what's happening in the public service now, and I'm afraid this is going to hit some people, but this is gonna think about it. The problem is that if you're in any sector of this economy, you have to go through government
Absolutely. For
Okay.
some
for something.
permission,
Okay.
permit,
Mm-hmm.
license,
And 9
something.
chances out of 10, and
Yeah.
don't believe me, believe the ranking that we have gone from 54 to 121 in doing business in the Bahamas, in the world. And that is not related to how GR Sweeting affects you doing business. That's related to how government affects you doing business.
Which politician do we blame that on?
No, I'm not going to blame it on anyone. Let's move away from the
No,
blame
I'm
game.
asking you that.
No, because I don't.
Because I want to get to the point that
let me-
we need to get to.
no, but here's the
you
point.
go ahead and finish what
Yeah.
you.
I think it is built up over time, and it is
Okay.
now a self kind of sustaining scenario. And the problem is that government see every business, every industry has a motive. Most businesses have a motive of making profit.
Yes.
Government, their motive is
Keeping people employed.
being, and I'm not talking about the politician. I'm talking about the civil service. Their number one motive is staying employed.
Yes. Staying employed.
Okay,
Right.
So now you figure you go to any particular. You know when this hit me, Ace? I was in. I'm going to call names.
Right.
I was in the bathroom at Family Guardian,
Okay.
and I was marveling at how spick and span it was,
All right.
and I didn't see a janitress in sight.
Okay.
But yet, one of the biggest categories of workers in the government service is janitresses. And what are the
And?
conditions of the bathrooms?
Yeah.
You would think with the amount of janitresses, and by the way, they also have to have the resources.
You say Family Guardian. They don't have. I don't know that they're dealing with that same volume of members of the public. like
Atlantis deals with the
like
same
a
volume.
government.
The bathrooms aren't
Not an
dirty.
excuse.
You don't got janitresses in there round the clock.
Right, but what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to make the point is let me give you another client. So you want to, we take it down to the bathroom level. The airport,
Nah.
Yeah.
okay? Pre 2000 and I think it's when the
13?
first.
I don't
Let
know.
me see.
whatever
No,
it
I can
was.
tell you now. 2007. NAD took over in 2007. The first thing that NAD did, I can tell you I was on the board. The first thing was they fixed the bathrooms. That was a big win.
All right. That was
Prior
a big
to
win
that,
indeed.
Prior to that, your welcome into the Bahamas was the scent of pee
I
on
know.
Dettol.
I know. I know it well. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a lot of volume that passes through there. It's the same volume, maybe more now. But they don't smell like pee.
How many
So-
people would you estimate go
It's-
through
it's
that
not
airport
more,
on a daily basis?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And it doesn't amount to the number of members of the public who go into these public buildings.
All I'm saying to you is it can be kept clean. That's all. And the bottom line is, I'm not comparing. What I'm doing now, I gave you like for like. I gave you airport before and airport after. I'm not saying airport compared to
Yeah.
to thing. Okay,
Yeah.
same buildings.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's a management
It's
thing.
a management issue. Absolutely.
Okay, because it's not in their interest. there's no motive, there's no gain to them. NAD has a profit motive. The former regime of the airport, there was no profit motive. There was no basis other than let me come to work.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure to go in them bathrooms
yeah,
now.
we talk about the people who do that again. Shouldn't we want to exist, move around in clean surroundings as a Bahamian?
Exactly.
But if you don't
Shouldn't that-
have, if your motive is just, well, I got a job, KB's song is perfect, right?
The tip
You
one,
know, who
who gave you
this
that
is
job?
civil service,
Gave you
give
that
my
job?
my MP.
the MP.
Because I don't, this isn't even my job, this is really my side job. So, you get a, we have to find a way now to address this issue because it is our number one hindrance. And if you talked about what stops you, when you said you, but you were being rhetorical, you go and try and open up any kind of business in this town and see where your obstacle is.
You don't have to tell me, I know.
Who, the government? GUBMENT?
The amount of things that one has to do, if you just want to sell toothpicks, well, where that would come from? And they should say that because we don't want no poison wood, right? But once you ask the question where the wood come from, then the whole process just becomes, you know what, I don't want to sell the toothpicks anymore, okay? Thanks.
Discourage you. Just too cumbersome.
I can just pull the thing out the broom.
And listen, let me and
So once again, now the standard gone
That would
down.
work,
I've
right?
accepted the
I got an
standard.
instant visual of that too.
You got to do what?
As I got an instant visual.
the
when you said
visual of that, right? Well, listen, I was involved in a project many years ago. Had to do with the airline business. That's as much as I'm going to say about it.
Okay.
And one of the people.
We don't touch fire here?
We don't what?
No, not Bahamas Air. This was a.
We don't just fly here?
No, this was a startup operation.
Okay. All right.
And the person in the Department of Civil Aviation who we needed some approvals from said to us, if you have enough money to go fool around with an airline, why don't you just open a food store? And that pissed me off to no end. I
Say
can say
again,
that,
they
right?
just say that?
If you have enough money, access
To
to
go
enough
open an
money
airline.
to go fool around with
Go-
an
go
airline,
open a
Open up,
food
not
store.
open up a stocking
fool
shop.
around
Go
is
sell
what
some
he
stock.
said.
That's operative
Why don't you
word.
go open
Operative
a
word.
food
As
store?
if that has anything to do with their business. Their business.
But that didn't come from the airline business is risky than opening a food store. That came from who you think you is.
Yeah, that's what
Go
that's what I
try
thought.
open one little food store.
Yeah.
That's when we
That's
talking
all. That's all
about
you're
it.
good enough to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
That's what we
That's
talk
more your
about.
speed.
Why don't we sell
Creating
some
new-
stockings?
It's not have a vendetta against stockings. I say that much. I picked
Well,
that
I don't have a
up,
vendetta
yeah.
'cause no one
you
buys them
got it.
anymore.
You got a vendetta. Plenty of people in the civil service.
No, listen. We are our own worst enemy. We are our own worst enemy. Who make up the civil service? We do.
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and I would
here's
say
but there's no this goes down to this thing about the accountability and the so all I want to do is have people deal with this when you talk about what we do. Do not stand for it. See, this is the beginning. We can get into activism and we can get into movements and all of these things, but it's the movement starts with I.
True.
Okay?
That is true.
And if you go to a government department, you are the employer. Forget about the politicians. They have no power over these people. You are the employer when you go to an apartment. You are not to be made to feel like you are intruding.
But most people not going to take that.
But
position,
fine if it's not most. But
unfortunately.
I'm gonna say it over and over.
No, and that's
because
fine.
If it's only 5 people that take it, maybe those 5 people will plant something in someone's mind.
Yeah,
that, look,
because
just serve the people with their due.
Yeah, because you talk about being brave. You go in one of those ministries and start making some noise. When you come back there,
Well,
you'll see what kind
fine.
of service you get.
Well, no, to be honest with you, something, Ace? Let me tell you something.
It
there
works
is-
the opposite with you, eh?
Well, this is what I think. I think that you don't need to be offensive.
True.
See, that's where people lose
True.
it.
Yes. I agree.
You can assert yourself without being offensive.
You can.
Excuse me, can you please get me the manager?
Mm-hmm.
Or can you please get me your supervisor?
Right.
Okay? And when you state your case very clearly, very firmly without calling names and saying what's wrong with y'all people and all. You don't need to do that. You will get served. So and then if that's not, you'll find other people in the office who in the way will rally with you. There are ways to get things done. We are not willing. This is why I always go back to this thing about what we are willing to do. We're not willing to do it. You know what we're willing to do? Sit in the room with the 15 different style chairs. Okay? While the person behind the window with the newspaper on top, who's eating the curry chicken, and we talk amongst ourselves. I mean, what's wrong with that? They got us out here eating the curry, and they eating the curry, and we out here and all that. But we're not talking to them.
Yeah.
But it's going on every day. So the next time you go to a government office, you just watch what's going down. Everyone is sitting around, rowing themselves out.
That's what's happening?
That's what's happening.
All right, we'll see. I'll see.
But they're not talking to the people.
Yeah.
That's serving them. Don't you agree that's true?
Oh, 100%.
I'll
I'm just
see.
getting the visual as you say it.
I went into an office once, right? I got to tell you this. I'm not going to tell you.
With the fish?
No.
Oh,
This is a
that
different one.
Okay.
And I'm going to clarify it over there. I went into a very senior office of a very senior
Politician.
cabinet type position. And at all these, they have a defense force guard at the entrance.
There.
So I walk in, and I'm walking with some people, and the person who I'm signing into, the defense force officer, they're eating some curry.
I laugh because it's funny.
Did it smell good? Eh?
So I didn't feel like being confrontational, so I said, "Is that curry?"
You had guests with you, right?
Yeah, I just said, just to highlight it, right?
Yeah.
I said, "Is that curry?"
He probably said, yeah.
And he said, yeah.
Yeah,
He kept
he
eating.
didn't catch on to it.
eh?
You
Like,
know?
yeah,
Like,
this
I would've
this
hidden
tastes
it.
good too,
I would've
man.
hidden it. Yeah.
Yeah, this tastes good too.
Oh my God. I'd be mortified.
They love to eat.
Mortified.
And my point that we talked about earlier. Who raises these people? Who thinks it's okay to do that? No, I'm serious. Who thinks it's okay to do that?
People can get away with saying, if I say that, I'll be in a whole other category.
Yeah, well,
who raises? I know, but
listen.
that's very well. Who raises these people?
Come on. Who thinks that is okay? Where do you live?
And even like you in the back, you client facing, you facing the public, and you standing there
Right up front.
with your curry chicken. You're in the back who they have to
And
come
curry
get you.
smell high.
Hey.
Yes.
It isn't like it's not the vodka of foods.
No, it isn't. No,
Okay.
it isn't.
All right. Well, listen, Ace, we always happy to have you, my friend.
Listen.
But I want people to think about that, Ace. We're starting off the new year, and I'd like to have you come back, obviously, as much as you
I
can.
love when Ace comes.
And the
I have to
reality,
tell you that,
well,
Ace.
we
I
it's
love
good
when Ace
discourse, right?
comes. Mm-hmm.
But this thing about how we are saddled and subjected to, we're not citizens, that was the beginning theme of our show, right? Transforming subjects to citizens.
Mm-hmm.
We are citizens that employ public servants. We are not subjects of the public service. That's the only message I want to put in people's head for the Ace Newbold. Thank you
Good
very
message.
much, man.
Thank you for having me.
After next.
Okay, Rogan. See you, Kendrick.